with thousands of flights expected to be reduced just hours from now, after the FAA announced major restrictions due to the ongoing government shutdown's impact on staffing. And tonight, a look at the 40 airports impacted. We should note these locations are preliminary, and the information was provided to U.S. airlines by the government. 10%, again, is the figure given by the Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy yesterday on the expected reductions from Anchorage and Cincinnati, Dallas and Honolulu, to Vegas, L.A., Boston, Miami, New York, and all 3 airports in the D.C. area. That's just a partial list. It's quite a sight to see. Joining us now for an inside look into the state of the shutdown is Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota, who joins us live from Capitol Hill. He's a member of both the Senate Appropriations Committee and the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator, it's great to have you back on Bloomberg TV and radio. I'm wondering how concerned you are about the impact this will have on air travel, and if, in fact, it is the grease the gears need to turn us out of this shutdown.
This is serious. It's one more step in the wrong direction for us. The American people expect us to have the aircraft run on time. They expect the trains to run on time. They expect us to actually have government operating. And once again, we have leadership on the Democrat side that could open it up tonight. And instead, they've decided that this is better for them and their political future rather than what's good for the people that are on SNAP or on WIC. In South Dakota, I've got 75,000 people that rely on SNAP for some of their food requirements, including on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, the Cheyenne Indian Reservation, the Rosebud Indian Reservation, all of which have high areas of unemployment. But this is impacting real people that need us to get our act together. We have now voted 14 times on a very simple resolution that would simply say, open the government up while we continue to negotiate in order to reduce the cost of health care for the American people. That's something that everybody from the president all the way down wants to accomplish. But you can't do it when you're having government being held hostage.
Well, Senator, you're outlining a simple proposal, as you're saying, but it sounds like something else is starting to take shape on Capitol Hill, including a stopgap measure, but maybe combining that with a potential vote down the line when it comes to extending the Affordable Care Act premium subsidies, maybe bundling it with some full-year spending bills. Can you give us any glimpse into these conversations? What's the sort of deal that seems to be emerging?
We have tried multiple attempts to include provisions of the existing appropriation bills that the Senate has already passed, to include them in an ongoing program on a permanent basis, to actually do some of the bills and bring them in and actually pass them, not as part of just the Senate appropriations, but send them over to the House as the plan in order to open up parts of government for the rest of the entire year. We've also indicated a willingness to look at all the rest of the appropriation bills that we've already passed out of the Senate Appropriations Committee that are waiting to come to the floor right now. And if we could do that, we could fund almost 90% of the entire federal government's demands. And once again, this is a case of where our Democrat colleagues have said, no, we want government shutdown unless we get our way. And what they have demanded so far was, first of all, the end to the $1.5 trillion benefits with regard to Social Security, the no tax on Social Security, the issues surrounding the no tax on tips provision, the items that were in what we call the Reconciliation Act. They wanted us to eliminate the 1.5, or they wanted us to spend an additional 1.5 trillion, of which $350 billion would have been required over the next 10 years, at least 70 billion over the next 2 years. That's been their demand. And so far, we've been able to work with individual members of the Senate, one-on-one, in which they have said, look, let's work out a different program. Let's get the Appropriations Committee back targeted again. A number of those individuals, in a very reasonable approach, have said, we know we've got to find a way to do government. But so far, leadership over there has not released basically the 10 members that we'll need in order to make this thing happen.